Hi guys, 412 Sports Cards here today, back with another video, and today we're going to be doing I have it on a tier list format, but a ranking of my top 10 players to be investing in the coming season in order. So with all the top 10 NBA player lists coming out with the season looming, I figured I'd give you guys a list of my top 10 basketball players that play in the NBA currently to be investing in the season. So this is not a list of the 10 best players, nor is it a list of players with the 10 best cards, but it's analysis of my top 10 picks for card investing. And it's worth noting that I'm relatively risk adverse, so I tend to opt against insanely boom or bust guys. But without further ado, let's get into it. I'll try to keep this one under 10 minutes here, so we're going to go a little quick. But number 10, before we get to number 10, actually, we'll drop some honorable mentions. KD, just too much uncertainty around how he's coming back from an Achilles. Ja Morant and Tatum were all honorable mentions that didn't make the cut. But we'll start. All I have is this tier list formatter, so we're going to do it in here. But Shea is going to get number 10, so we'll put him here at the back. So we'll put the next guy ahead of him. So he's boom or bust in my opinion. That's why he only got 10. He's definitely, so he's got the entire offense to himself. There's nobody else really there to score. Maybe Baisley, but he's the number one option. But with that, it means he's the focus of the defenses. And I don't know, he's definitely not had that kind of pressure before. So I don't know if I'd be putting that much stock into him, just because it does worry me that he's going to get the strongest perimeter defender assigned to him every time, each matchup. Number 9, Donovan Mitchell. People have kind of been sleeping on Mitchell in the offseason. Not a lot of talk about him at all that I see on social media, mostly about Tatum. I look at select cards a lot, and Tatum select is like 2 to maybe 2.5 times that of Mitchell. I don't know if he's worth that much of a premium. And with that in mind, I gave Tatum a spot to kind of represent, a back-end spot to represent that 2017 class. So number 8, who's it going to be? Trae Young is my pick here at number 8. You guys can kind of see who all 10 of mine are, just the way I'm running this. But we're going to give it to Trae at number 8. I think Trae's got a good season ahead of him. He's excelled as a distributor. His assists went from a little over 8 to a little over 9 last season. The way he distributes the ball really gives me confidence that he can succeed on a roster with a lot of mouths to feed, and I think that's going to bode well for the team this year. The only issue that I see maybe happening is that his prices have gotten so inflated already that I think that a lot is priced in, and he doesn't have the potential to boom like some guys that are higher up the list. Next up, Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi's currently sitting at about 2K for his Prism-based PSA 10, was around 5. You can't be forgetting here that the Clippers are still a very good team, and if they fix some of the chemistry issues, they're a definite top 5 title favorite. I think Kawhi is an excellent talent, and if he can win that third championship and a third Finals MVP with a different team, I think he could move towards that 5,000. 6th, so the last one before the top 5 is Ben Simmons. I think a lot of you might be surprised that I have Ben Simmons here in my top 10, and especially so high. I don't know, Ben Simmons is an all-NBA defender and a point guard with elite distributing ability. He's a high-end all-star, an all-NBA talent in my opinion. Obviously, we all know he can't shoot that well, but the Sixers went out, got shooting around him. Seth Curry's an elite shooter. Danny Green shoots well too. Got rid of Al Horford. Got new management, new coach, new management in. I just think it's his chance. I think that the floor is not that far below his current prices, and I think that he has a big chance to prove, to the world the talent that he is. So, okay, we kind of got a little more time here to get in under 10, where we got Luka next. So, Luka Doncic. Currently, we all know how pricey he is. And, some of you, once again, kind of like Trae, might be surprised I'm clocking him only at number 5. I mean, he's a good player, no doubt about it. Excellent player. I almost gave Simmons the nod at 5, but I see that Luka could go absolutely bonkers if he performs. There's so much hype surrounding him that the potential to boom is potential for an absolutely massive boom. So I see a lot of upside in him, but I'm really nervous about the current price expecting perfection for Luka. If he delivers, like I said, I can see him going insane, but I think a couple lackluster games or an injury even would crush Luka because the prices are so heavily inflated. He's nowhere near as safe as what people are talking about him as at these current prices. There's not a huge track record and so much is expected. I just see that there's a lot of downside risk in Luka that I don't think people are talking about when they're talking about all these safe investments. All right, this moves us into number 4. So you guys can kind of see what's left, but we're going to give the nod to Giannis at number 4. So, number 4, here, let's get him in. Giannis, I mean, obviously his cards were up at what, like 6, 7K? They're down at like maybe 3.5 right now. I think that hesitated putting him this high, but Bucks are a top 3 title favorite with the additions that they've made. He's a 2-time reigning MVP, and even if the Bucks don't get a finals win, which I think would be the chief way that you can see Giannis cards. I think if a finals win would command a ton of respect for his cards. But even if they don't, I think if he leaves Milwaukee and signs with a larger market team, it could definitely increase his fan base, especially since he's not a particularly outspoken player. And I think that's another catalyst that could be good for prices. Downside risk, I feel like, is relatively low because I feel like if they don't win, he's going to go somewhere where he will win. Number 3, Zion Williamson. This is a risky play in my opinion, but the upside on the risk is enormous. So with a draft class that's not particularly high-end talent, a couple big games I think could bring back Zion mania. Everyone's going to have the fear of missing out, one apiece. I think that his upside is the highest of anybody on this list. I think the potential for boom is by far the highest. It's insane to imagine how high they could go. Now, that said, injury and health and stamina is always a concern with Zion, and that's why he didn't move higher, but I think 3 is a pretty respectable spot on this list. Number 2, honestly 2 and 1 could pretty much go either way, but I made a close call, but 2 is going to go to Anthony Davis. So, Anthony Davis peaked at over 3K, currently at 1.7K. A little less than when they won the finals, but I think he showed a lot last year. His defense is elite. His offensive scoring production is insane. And him and LeBron both being under contracts in LA, the biggest market in basketball for so long, I think is good. And it's impossible to deny the chances of LA winning a title this year are insane. They already won a title, and then they went and added the 6th man of the year and the runner-up 6th man of the year to a roster already with two top 3 talents in the league. They're loaded, and I think AD personally is extremely underpriced even at this very moment, not even factoring in, I think the huge season he could have. But number 1, that means you probably saw it coming from me. Number 1's going to go to LeBron. I mean, the thesis is largely the same as Anthony Davis. Rebounded a little bit off his low prices, nowhere near the all-time highs. Chief concern with him, obviously, is age becoming an issue, but he has so much more of a track record than AD that I think the floor is set. It's a pretty strong floor. It's going to be hard for these prices to push much lower. And you can't really go wrong with either LeBron or Anthony Davis just because the title chances are so good. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this list I made here. Definitely put some thought into it to get you guys out some good content. Hope you enjoyed. And yeah, I got in under 10 minutes, so win-win. Anyways, like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you next time.